What's going on, guys? So let's talk about the MMORPG Tera. Tera officially got announced that they're going to be closing the game. This was on their official Twitter page. They said the venture ends. Unfortunately, we come bearing bad news. Tera's developers have decided to cease work on Tera as the last remaining publisher. It is with heavy heart that we must respect Bluehole's decision, and we will also have to shut down the game. Now, this is something that a lot of people have kind of had their eye on, as they realize with Tera over the years that the game has been steady declining in population. You can tell just from the Steam charts alone that the game has not been in a healthy state for years. Now, keep in mind there was the official launcher that many people use, including myself. But when you look at how bad the population is on Steam, you can only imagine on the launcher it's not much better. Maybe a little bit because there's more OG accounts where people made those back in maybe 2012 or 2013. Either way, the population of the game is not in a healthy state. Now, why has Tera failed to keep players playing the game, and why the game is shutting down? Kind of the biggest cause for me is I feel like Tera has not put out a lot of great updates. They have not really focused on making the game better. One of the worst cases is the optimization of the game is still very poor years later. You also have things where the in-game content is not satisfying enough to keep you playing. It's very pay to win and RNG grind to get your gear upgraded. There's also factors where a lot of things just really leave people with a bad taste in their mouth. Mainly their gender locked classes. Every time they put out a new class, I would be really annoyed that it would be locked to some type of race I don't want to play. Like, I remember they had, like, I think it was called like the ninja class or something, and you had to play one like the little girl races, like the alien races or something like that. It was like a little girl. And I think it was either the Sass or Ninja or something like that. It was a new class that came out. I think it was like 2017 or 2018 or maybe even a little bit longer ago. And I remember I wanted to play that class, and I was like, I just want to play like a male character. I don't want to play a little girl. And that's one of the things that really caused people to get pissed off with the game, as even though there's been people sticking around with how great the action combat is, it's definitely in the top 3 best action combats of all time. I would say Blade and Soul's up there, Tera, and then probably Black Desert for the top 3 in my opinion. Lost Ark is definitely a top contender also, but considering the isometric view of your MMO, I don't really put in the same viewpoint as you would for Tera and Blade and Soul and all these other MMOs. Either way, it's just really sad to see this game go, as I put in hundreds of hours myself, probably even thousands throughout the launcher. See a lot of people stating that because of how bad Elion did, not even being out for a year and down to 4 to 350 players, like completely dead, that it really hurt the Bluehole studio. And this is one of those things where I just don't understand what their thought process was, because they decided to make a whole brand new MMO with Elion, but they could have just built upon Tera. Tera was a known franchise MMO. People were familiar with it. People loved the action combat. All you needed to do was focus on building up Tera, not developing a whole new MMO that just completely bombed. Like, imagine if they just redid the engine for Tera, maybe upgraded it to Unreal Engine 4 or maybe Unreal Engine 5. That would be insane. Maybe add some new classes that aren't gender locked. Maybe add some new endgame content, which is rewarding and fun, more open world content because you're developing a new engine. Like, imagine all the things they could have done with Tera. They didn't even have to make a new MMO, and with them doing that, I just feel like they left Tera to die. And it's just a really frustrating thing to see this game die, because even though it's not a perfect game, it's not one I was actively playing at all, the action combat is just something I will always remember and enjoy. And I used to play this to get my action combat fixed while I watched like videos of Blade and Soul over in Korea. I couldn't wait to play it and get the launch in 2016 when it came out, and played Blade and Soul like crazy. I used to play Tera all the time to kind of get that fix of, you know, the action combat feel, the Korean feel of those polished combat games. And it's just sad to see this game finally die. Anyways, that's really the video for Tera. I just wanted to kind of share my thoughts, and it's just sad to see that this game couldn't keep an audience. I really feel like if Bluehole didn't drop the bomb with Elion and just said, you know what, let's not develop a new MMO, let's just focus on our already established Tera MMO that people love and just make it way better. Let's really fix it up and build it up, and then release like a big, like, I guess like a free expansion or like a revamp of Tera. I bet you they would have had thousands of players rejoining the game. I would have definitely checked it out at least, and if it was good, I probably would have stayed. It's just one of those things where I feel like Tera could have kept going if they would have really focused on making a better game, especially for endgame, keeping those retaining players. A lot of people would jump into the game and play it for the action combat and level up, but after like level 20 or 30, they would just quit, including myself. I had fun leveling old characters, but really was nothing to keep me engaged for the end game. And so it's just really sad to see. I've said that 100 times, but really will miss jumping into Tera and just having some fun with that good combat. It really is like, there's still MMOs coming out today that don't even have close as good as combat as Tera. So it's just really impressive to see how well the combat has held up for over a decade of this game being out. But anyways, that's really the video. Just wanted to kind of share my thoughts and, you know, talk about the announcement of Tera closing. After a decade of being out, I mean, hey, that's a really great run, and it's lasted longer than most MMOs ever will. So definitely just unfortunate to see it finally be closing. What do you guys think Bluehole Studios could have done to actually kept Tera alive? Could they actually have done something, or just over time people got, you know, lost interest in Tera and decided to move to other new MMOs? Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you guys watching the video. As always, leave a like, sub to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.